Okay, let's talk about this squeeze theorem group assignment. Any problem that relies on using a particular theorem, especially in like a calculus class or above, there are certain steps you have to go through to write up a complete solution. You have to show that you meet the conditions of that theorem. That is the most important thing. So the squeeze theorem, the conditions are you've got some function that's bounded between two other functions, and both of those outside functions have the same limit at the point of interest, in this case, 0. So that's what you're going to do here. You're going to find two functions who this guy is bounded in between. Both of those are going to be continuous functions. You're going to show that both of those have the same limit as t goes to 0. And then you have to say, if you're using a theorem, you have to quote that theorem. You have to say, by the squeeze theorem, this statement we were trying to prove is true. To make sure you do all of those steps. This is a tricky question down here. This is literally just squeeze theorem. Part A should be pretty easy. Again, you're going to, at some point, if you don't say by the squeeze theorem, you have not written a complete solution. Part B is tricky for two reasons. And I'm kind of going to give you the answer here. In order to use the squeeze theorem, your function has to be bounded in between two other functions. This statement right here is true near 1, but it's not true near 2. This is not true everywhere because this guy is not always less than this guy. Once you reach a certain point, this guy gets bigger for a little bit. So the outside here is not always true. It's true at 1, which is good enough for part A. It's not true at 2. Secondly, to use the squeeze theorem, both the inside and the outside, not only does the left one have to be smaller, they both have to have the same limit. That's not going to happen here. So there are two different reasons. I kind of gave you the answer here why you cannot use the squeeze theorem to calculate the limit as t approaches to, or that should say x approaches to. I'll fix this document. When you're looking at it, these will all say x's. X approaches 1, x approaches 2. You cannot use the squeeze theorem to find the limit as x approaches 2 of f of x.